to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome our guests here this evening. Is there anybody that needs Spanish translation? Mike, can you translate that into Spanish for me?
¿Habrá alguna persona que necesite servicios de traducción hoy? Doesn't seem so.
Okay, it doesn't look like it. So, thanks for coming. Moving on to item A3. If you've had a chance to review tonight's agenda, I'll accept a motion to approve.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Second, discussion. I did see that there isn't a spot, I just noticed it just now, for public input. I don't know if we have any tonight or not. But we may want to add it. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item B1, consent agenda. If you've had a chance to review the consent agenda, I'll accept a motion to approve.
I have. I have a discussion item, and maybe the board can help me with my recollection of this. But as I look at the minutes from last board meeting, the executive session, the way it reads there is that we recessed an executive session at 8 o'clock. I do remember that. I remember the regular meeting being over at 8. Except for approximately 30 minutes for the purpose of a resolution. That we came out of the executive session at approximately 8:35, took action, and then went back into the executive session at 9 o'clock. I don't think there was a 25-minute period before we went back into executive session, was there?
My memory was we went back into executive session for 45 minutes or an hour.
That was what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I had the same.
But it was
same
like,
memory.
we took maybe 5 minutes or something in between.
Yeah, I think it was more like at about 8:40 we went back in for 45 minutes, not 20. So, do we need to have those minutes written, or can we have a motion with that change? What is your guys' feelings on that?
I say motion with the corrections made.
Okay.
Yeah, my feeling would be is that's correct, but we'd need to make sure we go back in and get these updated.
So I move that we approve general consent with the changes to the minutes that reflect the board going back into the second executive session at 8:40 for 45 minutes, and then coming back to the regular meeting at 9:25, and that the minutes would reflect that.
Okay, motion by Director Simmons as stated.
Second.
Second by Director Mike Garza. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Item B2, Director discussions.
Wait. Looks like there's been a change to the agenda. B2, Superintendent's report?
Yeah, mine's not showing the right. Yep, sorry, B2, Superintendent's report. Dr. Hurst.
Yes, Ms. Bullis is going to provide an update to the board on land acquisition.
Hello? Okay. So I have the appraisal. I received the appraisal on the 78-acre subject property that the district is looking to purchase. And I just received today a draft purchase and sales agreement from Cliff. I'm working with Cliff Foster, our attorney. So the verbiage on that is still, we're working on that with the intent of bringing the draft purchase and sales agreement to the board on the October 10th board meeting, and that includes a section on a feasibility study, which is a contingency section to deal with soil conditions, zoning, just all the different things that are protected for the district in moving forward with this purchase. The feasibility study has a 90-day time frame to be completed in, which is more than sufficient time from what we've had in the past. So I anticipate a purchase and sales agreement on the 10th, with moving forward with taking it to the seller on the 11th, and still aligned with selling or closing the property on or before the 31st of January, which was per the seller's request. Any questions?
I don't think so. Is there any other items on first? Okay, so now we'll move on to item B3, and with the legislative report.
There are no new legislative happenings to report on.
Okay. Student rep report. Kira couldn't be here tonight.
No. Okay, there's actually a lot going on. Okay. One big change to Othell High School was we took down the tardy kiosk, and basically what that was, if you were tardy, you would go to your classroom and then you'd realize you're tardy and you'd have to go all the way to the office to get a slip to get back into class. And that took a lot away from class time. So they got rid of that, and now they're basing the system off a warning. So the first one's a warning, the second one's a call home, and the third one's a 30-minute evening school that you have to do after school. And teachers are just marking that down so it gains more class time for students. Teachers are really liking that better than losing class time. We had a Rooters bus last Friday to Toppenish, and a lot of kids went, and that was a really big success. They had more spirit there than they usually do here. And I think a lot of that's due to a pep club that we started, and we're really promoting more school spirit. We meet every Monday, so that's happening. We had another hallway spirit walk, and we included the sports cross country, girls soccer, and volleyball. And the band is gaining a lot more recognition because they are ones that lead us through the hallway. And then this year we're doing something different from homecoming. We've always had the Husky Olympics, which is a competition between all the classes. We're going to hold that on the football field if the weather permits. So we're doing that, and this year we're playing the Quincy Jackrabbits, so the theme is Wabbit season. And Mr. Kovalenko's wonderful fiance, Erica, created an amazing logo if you guys want to see for everything. And that's about it.
Great,
Good
great,
report.
really good, thank you. The next item is board school visits. I'm assuming that what that is just a reminder that we're visiting Scootney next. And that'll be, I just wrote that down.
So it wasn't just to discuss any specifics of the visits, I've heard? Because I noticed it was in announcements too, so I didn't know if maybe Juan had some questions for her. Okay. I really like the, for what it's worth, the format of the last one, and I see that the same format for Scootney, so good.
Good. Moving on to item C1, EL 6 and 7. SurveyMonkey results. We'll start with EL 6. Looks like question 4 was 4 felt like we were in compliance, 1 felt like we were not. The question is the superintendent shall not fail to incorporate organizational performance considerations into administrative compensation. The majority found we were in compliance, so as long as those that are here feel like we're in compliance,
I do.
Okay. So overall, unless any board members have any other thoughts, it looks like EL6 is in compliance with no
Agreed.
exceptions. Okay, moving on to EL7. I believe they were all showing in compliance. Just note that we took where we answered the question of who did it. We found out we didn't need to do that for SurveyMonkey, and so that shouldn't really be on any of them anymore. I think this must have been an old template, but so I don't think we'll need that going forward. And moving on to D1, EL4. And this, do we have one that has the corrections on it? This one looks like the actual EL4, the one that I pull up here. Okay. Yeah. So on this one from our workshop, we were going to propose to change item number 4 to district advisory committees instead of just advisory committees. Does the board still feel like that's
Yeah, so
the other stuff we talked about and then ended up
I hadn't noticed them earlier when I went through, there weren't as many on there, but do any of these have our, the original policy and then the recommended changes and those would usually be in red? Aren't even written like that?
None of them are
Would it be, should we put it off and have those changes in the next board meeting? It's a little easier, I think, sometimes to see the original than with the recommended changes in red. So if they're not there, I mean, this meeting, we talked about a lot of policies. I don't have any problem with putting that up to next meeting if the rest of the board's okay with that.
I'm okay with that as
I agree.
well. And also in light of the fact that 2 board members aren't here.
And all 5 of us were at the workshop.
So do we need a motion to table?
So I think so, because if we just were to do nothing with these, they would just remain and they would not be in policy review next time. So I think we need a motion to table.
Okay. So we'll
Can we
start.
do a one sweeping motion or we need separate motions?
Are all of these ones that we looked at last time, or I was thinking mandatory policies was a normal.
I think the last policies that we reviewed were 8, EL8, right? And a couple GPs.
Yeah.
So I don't think these are anything that were in the normal calendar.
Okay. Well,
Do you think it's
EL 6
okay
and
to do?
7 should have been. I think we were going to leave those to the next meeting anyway, because that's when they should have been.
So
Their normal cycle.
I was going to ask that. So 6 and 7 were not ones we made changes to in our workshop. Recommended changes.
They were. I have to go back and look at my notes. I don't have them with me. I think there were ones that were there. There were proposed changes, but I don't think we. I think we, as a board, decided not to change them.
Yeah, proposed changes.
EL7, there was proposed changes.
Okay. Well, that's
So
why
I
I
think
didn't.
we need to. It'd probably be prudent just to table them all. I assume you can table all the items at once.
So if that's appropriate, I'll make that motion. Okay. I moved to table items D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to our next board meeting.
Okay, we have a motion to table items D1 through D7 to the next board meeting.
With the inclusion of the proposed revisions on
So
the
the-
end.
So there'll be 2 PDFs for each policy, right? One is our current and one with the proposed revisions in red. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I understand it.
And if you need help, I can email you some of them. I have the ones that I did.
I second the motion.
Okay, a second by Director Mike Garza. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. So moving on to item E1, executive session to discuss staff evaluation for how long? For approximately 30 minutes. So we'll recess for 5 minutes. It's now 7:15. And we'll recess for 5 minutes and then come back into executive session at 7:20.
Okay. We have to wait till after the executive session to hear the meeting. A couple of important announcements.